Another massive day out in the Nations League as the Dutchies take on the Italians. Who's going to come out on top? We'll talk about it next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction show. Today we take a look at Matchday number 2, part 2, out in the Nations League, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash the old subscribe button, get you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Nations League related, world football related. We got it all here, boys. Under one, Ruski, of course, we've been following the Nations League since Matchday number 1, and we're going to continue it right to the very end. Of course, before we jump into thinking things, to take a little look at your predictions and my predictions for Matchday number 2, or Matchday number 1, part 2. We, of course, want a big shout out to the Patreon gang. That's right. Respect to my brothers and sisters for supporting the channel behind the scenes. It does make, it's you guys that actually kick on the channel to another level. So do appreciate the support in the way that you do. So if anyone else is out there and watching this and thinking, you know what, I want to become a patron for the channel, well, it's simple. Just follow the old description. In there, you'll see a link that says patreon.com/Roverseas. Hop on over there, check it on out, and you can become the latest member of the VIP exclusive gang. Anyway, let's take a look at how we all got on last time around in Matchday number 1, part 2, with your picks, my picks, and all that kind of jazz, and see who comes out on top. Okay, folks, let's jump in the deep end and take a little look at, of course, the matches and results. Of course, it took place on Matchday number 1, part 2, which was Friday night. We opened up the campaign with Netherlands. They took on Poland, and that ended up as a 1-0 win in favour of the Dutchies. The only goal scorer, Steven Bergwijn, banging the goal in on the 61st minute to give the Orange, or whatever you want to call them, the opening day victory. I went with a 3-1 win myself, not too shabby. Next up, Italy. They took on Bosnia, and that ended up all square, 1-1 in the end. Edin Dzeko opened up the scoring for the Bosnians on the 57th minute. Stefo Sensi levelling it on the 67th minute. I actually went with a 2-0 win on this one for Italy. I got the right amount of goals, but unfortunately not the right result. 1-1 final score. Next up, into what group is this bad boy? Into Nations League B, Group 1. It was Norway. They took on Austria and ended up 2-1 winners in favour of Austria. Actually went 2-1 the other way in favour of Norway. The goals on the day coming from Michael Gregstrich on the 35th minute. Marcel Sabitzer on the 54th minute, with Erling Haaland getting the one and only goal for Norway, his first for his country as well. 2-1 winners for Austria away from home. Actually went 2-1 win in favour of Norway, so we got that one wrong. Romania took on Northern Ireland, that ended up all square as well, 1-1 in the end. I got the right amount of goals on this one as well. I wanted the 2-0 win myself, but points split right down the middle. I think Northern Ireland will be happy with this, considering they were down to 10 men after 39 minutes when Josh McGuinness got his second yellow card. Then he had his marching orders. But George Puskás opened up the scoring for Romania, who is, where's he played? Reading these days. And of course, Gavin White of Cardiff levelling it on the 86th minute. So all square, 1-1. With a 2-0 win on that one. Next up, Scotland took on Israel. And then also all square, 1-1 over in Scotland. Actually went with a 2-1 win for the Scots myself. The Tartan Army, but they botched their lines here. Ryan Christie opened up the scoring on the 45th minute from the penalty spot with Uren Shadevi for Israel, levelling it on the 73rd minute. So I think Israel were content with that bad boy. Same group, Slovakia lost at home to Czech Republic. 3-1 on the day. Vladimir Kufal, Borik Doktal, and Mikhail Kiminic. Score sheet for Czech Republic. Ivan Šranc, the one to go for Slovakia. Actually went with a 2-1 win for Czechs. So, yeah, got that one right. Good result for Czech. Because considering, I think, rumour has it that the next game against Scotland, they're not bothering with it, so it's going to be a walkover. That's what I've read anyway. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Anyway, so next up, it was Belarus taking on Albania out in Nations League C Group 4. And it was a 2-0 win in favour of Albania. Sokol Salkazai on the score sheet and Kirje Bare to give Albania a 2-0 lead and a 2-0 win. And that's what I got as well. I went with a 2-0 win, so not too shabby. And wrapping it all up, it was Lithuania taking on Kazakhstan, and it ended up as a 2-0 win for Kazakhstan. Bakitor Shaganakatov and Ishamalek Quat on the score sheet. 2-0 winners. And for me, I went with the 2-1 win myself for Kazakhstan. So not too shabby indeed. Now, what's my old pickaroonies here? I think I got myself 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 10, or 4 out of 8, which is 50% again. So all in all, remember that number, 50%. That's a big fat hairy 5. So let's take a look, of course, at how the groups in these respective matches, or the tables that are represented in these respective matches, what they look like as of right now. So Netherlands open up their campaign, of course, top of the shops now, and League A Group 1. Bosnia and Italy have to settle for a point. Poland have got it all to do in Matchday number 2. Meanwhile, out in League B Group 1, Austria have opened up a lead already on Northern Ireland and and Romania, with Norway again playing catch-up. Into League B, Group D, it's Czech Republic with the advantage for now, but of course Israel and Scotland also unbeaten after their draw. League C, in Group 4, Albania and Kazakhstan open up their campaigns with big fat wins as well, to open up already a nice steady lead over the chasing packs. Okay then folks, let's take a look at the criteria once again. 0 to 2, you're in the ship-based gang. 3 to 5, you're in the straight-based club. And 6+, you're in the top banana. So let's take a look at then Master Fighter. He got himself a nice bunch of predictions, not too shabby. Club Skills did absolute gash. We Are QPR also did terrible. Shane O'Donnell, horrific, absolutely horrific. Mike Gallagher, not too bad. Jonathan Liu did poo. Antti Solonen, not too shabby. Slaven Selt did gash. Adrian Govanev, not too bad. Issa also did pretty well. LG and Cow, of course. Respect to you, sir, for being a Patreon, but you did poop. Walsh Design did okay. Fernando Jose Garcia Garamund did absolute poop. Victor Carvalho also gash. Kyle did okay. Benjamin Kelstenich also did pretty ghastly. Tom Nicholson also did terrible. Costas K ghastly. And Lucas Dem also did ghastly as well. Next up, Bianca Molnar, well done to you. Respect, of course, for being a Patreon. Not too shabby, but you did poop. Jan did not bad. Yannick Bustler, okay. Vinterloft did pretty good for himself. Nathan Heaver, bounce back ability. Respect to you, sir, being a Patreon, of course, but you still did poop. But maybe next time you get a better. Football Mapper, ghastly. Bossia Mata, not too shabby. Roberto Hollis did okay. Shepard, of course, respect to you, sir, for being a Patreon as well. But you did ghastly as well. Matt Gunner, not bad. Luca Tullius did okay. Ultra Omen Mirror, well done to you as well. Being a Patreon, of course, loving it. Also not bad prediction. Serbian Predictor, not too good today. Game and Charlie also did okay. And 2 Swaft did okay. So that is match day number 2, match day number 1, part 2 complete. So who was your pick of the bunch, your prediction king for this match day? Let's get into it then and have a look at the leaderboard for match day number 2. And on the right hand side you'll see your percentages. So for example, Victor Carvalho got 25%, Football Mapper also got 25%, Costas K 38%. But your leader for match day number 2 and only match day number 2 is Victor Loft and Yannick Bustler, both 63%. Not too bad, but that is just for that individual video. But if you want to take a look at who is your overall leader out in the Nations League, here comes the leaderboard. Right at the bottom there, Slaven Celtic is its bottom. Nathan Eber is bouncing back. He'll be back into it. You just watch him bounce back. Football Map up there in 18th spot. We are keeping up to 7th. But your leader at the moment is Bossio Mattia with a 50% success rate. Gaming Charlie is also up there with Ultra Oma Murat. Of course, respect to you for being a patron, and Walsh Design. My scores are not in there, but I got 4 for today. I got 5 yesterday, which is probably around about 50. I'm probably up there with Bossio Matta. I'm probably up there. So yeah, you've got your work cut out to do. I'm just on the road. I haven't got all my tools and tricks and ponies and all that kind of stuff. So that's why we're a little bit basic. We're a little bit basic today. But anyway, we're going to head into match day number 2, part 2 now, with these respected nations back in action once again. So let's jump in the deep end and take a look at those games coming at you. So next up, here we go, boys and girls. Head into the next day. Heading into match day number 2, part 2. It is, of course, some more crunchy clashes, including this juggernaut to kick us all off. It is the Dutchies up against Italy. So let's get into this one and take a closer look at this bad boy. Now, these two nations have played each other, according to my record books, a whopping 21 times. 3 victories, just 3 victories for the Dutch, 9 victories for Italy, and 9 draws. Over the last 6, though, it's been 1 win for the Dutchies, 2 wins for Italy, and 3 draws as well. The last time they played each other was back in 2018. It was a friendly, it was a 1-1 draw. Simon Zaza on the score sheet for Italy, and Nathan Aki on the score sheet for the Dutchies, with Domenico Criscio getting himself sent off. However, the last time they played in Holland was a 2-1 win for Italy way back in 2017. Edda on the score sheet for Italy, and Leonardo Bonucci as well. Alessio Romagnoli on the score sheet for the Dutchies. Now, heading into this, the bookmakers' odds on this one, I'll give you the odds on this. 23 to 20 for the Dutchies, 23 to 10 is your draw, and 12 to 5 is your away win. Of course, the Dutch open up the campaign with a win over Poland. Meanwhile, Italy open up the campaign with a draw against Bosnia, who could be the dark horse in this group, and then, of course, could cause some more problems as they enter their second match. We'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, what are you guys going on this one? Please sure to get your predictions in nice and early, of course. But for me, I'm going to stick with a nice squeaky clean draw, which is not going to please either of the two nations. In fact, it's not really going to do Italy any favours with 2 draws out of the first 2 games. But the Netherlands will keep up their unbeaten run, and then of course they'll look to take some points off of Bosnia whenever they come around. Speaking of Bosnia, they're up next, taking on Poland, of course. Same match day as well. So Bosnia against Poland, they played each other a couple of times, just 3 times. 0 wins for Bosnia at the moment, 2 wins for Poland, and 1 draw. In those last 3 games, the last time they did duke it out was back in 2011 in Poland. It was a 1-0 win for the Poles.
It was all the way back, according to my knowledge, in December. Is that right? Fixtures in December. Anyway, Waldemar Slovakia on the score sheet for Poland. The last time they played in Bosnia was a 2-2 draw back in 2010. The goal scorers that day, Mohamed Sabadic and Srđan Mizimovic for Bosnia, with Pavel Bozic getting a big fat couple of goals for himself. Bookmakers odds on this one, I'll tell you right now, 13-8 for Bosnia, 23-10 is your draw, 8-5 for Poland. It is tight. That's why the Nations League is what it is. Difficult to call, but I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Bosnia. They open up the campaign with an impressive result against Italy, and now they'll take another 3 more points to the tally to probably lead the table. That's what it will be. Okay, folks, next up is Austria. They're going to be taking on Romania, of course, out of this group. Now, these two sides have played each other 8 times, 2 victories for Austria, 1 win for Romania, and 5 draws. Now, stretching those games back, the last 3 going all the way back to 2009. The last time they played each other was back in 2012. It was a 0-0 draw. No one got on themselves on the score sheet. That was a friendly. However, the last competitive game was World Cup qualifying campaign back in September 2009. It was a 1-1 draw. Goal scorers was Buka for Romania and Franz Schneider for Austria. And all the way back, last time they played each other in a competitive match in Austria was all the way back, also 2009. It was a 2-1 win for Austria. Erwin Hofner with both of the goals for Austria, and Christian Tanti as well on the score sheet for Romania. The bookmakers odds on this one, 10-7 on Austria, red hot favourites. 30-5 is your 4-1 is your away win. Of course, Austria open up their campaign with the win against Norway, 2-1 winners, and of course Romania open up their campaign with a draw against Northern Ireland. Again, be sure to get your predictions in on this one. I'm sticking with Austria on this one to make it back-to-back wins for them. Romania away from home will be a bit tricky for them to get anything out of this. And of course, they've shown a sort of rise in performance over the past few years internationally, and I think they're starting to get back to where they belong, which is in the, I'd say the top 16 nations within Europe, but I think they've still got a little bit of work to go. So Austria with the victory to again make it 6 points out of 6 for them in their group. Next up, Northern Ireland taking on Norway. This is monstrous for both of these nations. Of course, Northern Ireland picking up a point their first time around. Norway with a defeat. Anyway, these two sides have played each other, according to my knowledge, just the 9 times. 2 wins for Northern Ireland, 7 victories for Norway in the last 5 games between these two nations. Has been 1 win for Northern Ireland, 4 wins for Norway. The last time they played each other was back in 2017. It was a 1-0 win for Norway with a Chris Brunt, big fat OG. The last time they played in Northern Ireland, there was a 2-0 win for Northern Ireland, also in 2017. Jamie Ward and Connor Washington on the score sheet. The bookmakers' odds on this one will probably go with more likely to be a draw. 9-4 is your victory for Northern Ireland. 11-8 is your away win, and 2-1 is your draw. On this bad boy. I think I'm just trying to remember now. I think I've gone with a draw on this one. Yeah, I like Norway. I think they're decent. They're on the rise as well. Again, if you look at the stats against Northern Ireland way back when, they were a more dominant force than they have been in recent years. But they're starting to bounce back. They've got some really good players. Haaland, of course, opened up his account last time around, but unfortunately on the losing side. But Northern Ireland under new management, so open up their account with a draw, and I do expect them to be very stubborn at home, especially against Norway. So I'm going with a draw on this one. To give Northern Ireland an unbeaten start. Norway their first point on the books. Next up, we have an interesting one. It is the Czech Republic up against Scotland. Now, rumour has it that this game is going to be cancelled, and in favour it will be given Scotland a walkover, basically a 3-0 win. But anyway, let's just say it doesn't get cancelled, and let's just talk about it in a way that it would be, just in case I'm wrong. So these two nations have played each other 7 times, 4 victories for the Czechs, 2 wins for Scotland, and 1 draw. The last time they played each other was back in 2016 in Czech Republic. It was a friendly. It was a 1-0 win for Scotland. Ichi Anaya on the score sheet for Scotland. However, the last time they played in Scotland was a 2-2 draw all the way back in 2011. The goal scorers on that day, Kenny Miller, Darren Fletcher, and for Scotland, Jared Plasel and Mikhail Klandic on the score sheet for the Czechs. Like I said, I believe it's going to be postponed. I don't see any odds on this one, so it's probably more than likely, or the bookies aren't touching it with a barge pole. The number that I've been quoted is a 3-0. So guess what, folks? I'm going to stick that bad boy in there for a cheeky 3-0 win for Scotland. So that'll give themselves 4 points out of possible 6, and possibly a shot at leading the group. But it all depends on what goes on in this next game. Israel up against Slovakia. So let's take a closer look at these bad boys. So these two nations have played each other how many times? According to my knowledge, they played each other 4 times. 0 wins for Israel, 3 for Slovakia, and 1 draw. The last time they played each other was in 2014. It was a 3-1 win for Slovakia in Israel. It was a friendly as well, with Marko Jankupko on the score sheet, Jan Duricha, Robert Mack as well, with Marzo Buzalogo on the score sheet for Israel. Speaking of the odds on this one, of course, in Scotland's group, 20-19 for the victory for the home team on this bad boy. Meanwhile, the draw is 12-5, 14-5 is your away win for Slovakia. So Israel, I've got the edge on this one, bookmakers odds-wise, but I can't really separate the two sides. I'm going to give it a 0-0 draw. I think Slovakia will be content with the point away from home. Israel, though, will see this as an opportunity missed, and it'll open up the door for Scotland to lead the group. Yes, that's right. Next up, we have Kazakhstan taking on Belarus. Kazakhstan, very decent last time around, picking up the victory 2-1 in Lithuania. Meanwhile, Belarus open up their campaign with a 2-0 loss. But anyway, these two nations, how many times have they played each other? According to my knowledge, 3 times, in fact. 0 wins for Kazakhstan, 2 wins for Belarus, and 1 draw. I think the boot's going to be on the other foot this time around, though. Speaking of those last 3, the last time they played each other was a friendly back in 2011. It was a 1-1 draw with Vashiev Hlev on the score sheet for Belarus. Is that the old former Arsenal man? Meanwhile, Kazakhstan's goal coming from Sergio Osapenko on the 88th minute to level it all up. The last competitive match was back in 2009, and it was in Belarus. It was a 4-0 win for Belarus. The last competitive match between these two nations in Kazakhstan was a 5-1 win, also for Belarus. The bookmakers' odds will probably, I don't know, I think Kazakhstan are a different beast these days. 17-10 for the host, 17-10 is also for the away team, and 21-10 is your draw. Kazakhstan, buoyed by the victory last time around, will have another one this time around. I'm going with a 2-1 win for the Kazakhstanis to give themselves the edge in this one. And wrapping it all up, it will be Albania taking on Lithuania. Of course, it's the crunch match here. Now, these two sides, how many times have they played each other? According to my brain power, they played each other 4 times. 2 wins for Albania and 2 wins for Lithuania. The last couple of games, last taking place in 2013 was a 4-1 win for Albania. It was a friendly back in 2013. Alba Meh, Egded Kayani, Migan Pasha, and a big fat OG from Marcus Polionsi, giving Albania the victory. The last time played, or previously, before that, was 2006. It was 2-1 win for Lithuania. So these two sides knowing each other a little bit anyway. Albania opened up the account with a 2-0 win against Belarus. Meanwhile, Lithuania opened up their account with the loss against Kazakhstan. The bookies will go with Albania, 11-4, red hot favourites, 10-3 is your draw, and 9-1 is your away win. For me, though, of course, I like Albania. They got it in them, especially at this level. I think they're going to come out on top quite comfortably. 3-0 win in the end.
My friends, that's all I've got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up. And if you are new, pretty much bang the old subscribe button. I keep you bang up to date with all things Nations League related, boys and girls. Of course, if you're looking to go with that extra punch to support the channel in another way, there is, of course, Patreon, which is the link down below. Check that bad boy out. It's a way that you can support the channel besides your viewership. And, of course, it does unleash some perks and privileges, which is pretty much you'll become one of my new best mates. That's right. And also I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and all that kind of jazz. All those links, bad boys, can be in the old description down below. So, who will come out on top after match number 2? Well, we'll take a look at this. These results in the month of October. So make sure you stick around for those bad boys whenever they come around. Tomorrow we'll take a look at match number 2, part 3. Who's going to come out on top? We've got some big ones in there, including England and, of course, the World Champions fans. Until then, though, give the video some love, and I'll see you all on the other side. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.